Senate meets Minister of Finance over impact of economic reforms.
And a basis for growing the economy, a basis for attracting investment, increasing productivity, encouraging creation of jobs.
Federal government empowers 252 women on digital technology.
Pursue and develop their career in technology and become innovators, leaders and entrepreneurs.
And health experts advocate establishment of stroke units in health facilities across the country. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 6 on Nta News24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. We'll begin at the National Assembly. Implications of ongoing reforms in the oil and gas sector of the economy was the focus of an interactive session between the Senate Committee on Finance and key establishments of government. The meeting is setting the stage on what to expect in the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper 2025 to 2027. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
This meeting underscores our commitment to transparency, accountability.
As the Senate reviews the MTEP 2024 to 2026 and awaits that of 2025 to 2027, it deemed it crucial to engage key stakeholders on matters relating to the impact of the ongoing reforms.
Sales of crude oil to domestic refineries in Nigeria, in Naira. Additionally, we will examine shortfalls in NNPCL revenue remittances, focusing on key areas such as foreign and domestic excess crude accounts, the signature bonus account, NNPCL cash call account, and any outstanding unremitted revenue linked to under-recoveries.
The Minister of Finance said the federal government appreciates the understanding demonstrated by Nigerians, with assurances that results have started emerging.
The economic reform, once in place, portend additional revenue for government, recovery of the finances of NNPC, and a basis for growing the economy, a basis for attracting investment, increasing productivity, encouraging creation of jobs.
The meeting continued behind closed doors. In another development, a public hearing convened by the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals to collate views on the proposed establishment of the Nigeria Mine Rangers Service saw most ministries, departments and agencies of government expressing reservations.
Consider and adopt the Special Mines Surveillance Task Force and its standard operational procedure as a better alternative.
There are other agencies that are already doing what this bill intends.
We have made our submission, and that is our stand, that the bill should not be allowed to go.
The proposed agency seeks provision of personnel to monitor and patrol mining areas in Nigeria.
With its vast potential, the sector deserves every necessary policy attention and legislative intervention to fast-track its full exploration.
Let the process of exploiting and extracting this wealth it shouldn't be detrimental to life and humanity.
Create these rangers that will monitor from community to community, engaging our traditional rulers.
A 1-minute silence was observed at the public hearing in honor of the late Chief of Army Staff. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, Nta News.
252 more women drawn from across the country have been trained and empowered by the National Information Technology Development Agency in collaboration with the Renewed Hope Initiative. While presenting empowerment items to beneficiaries, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu described the feat as another significant leap in the efforts of the current administration to advance gender equity, leveraging technology. State House correspondent Nta News24 reports.
It was a partnership born out of shared vision, which is to empower women and give them more room to play in the digital space. The vision drew its first breath on August 21, 2023, when a set of 35 beneficiaries drawn from the FCT underwent a 5-day ICT training with Renewed Hope Initiative, providing the platform and beneficiaries, while the National Information Technology Development Agency, NTA, offers logistics and training. Today, on the second year anniversary of this strategic collaboration, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu is pleased to see the growth of the program, which now has 40 women per geopolitical zone embarking on the same capacity building training aimed at transforming their communities.
These women are now set to go out into the world to put these new skills to use and to inspire and guide other young women. And I'm so glad hearing your testimonies today that you all are set to empower others, and that is the message. I look forward to the great things that all of you will accomplish in the months and years ahead. I thank the Director General of NIDA, Malam Kashifu, Inua Abdullahi, and his team for this passion and steadfast commitment to bridge Nigeria's digital divide by ensuring our women's full participation in the digital revolution through access to technology that will enable them contribute meaningfully to the economic growth and innovation.
She notes that the ultimate goal of the collaboration is to leverage technology to bridge gender gaps.
To create more diverse and inclusive tech world, we need to inspire and empower the next generation of female role models to pursue and develop their career in technology and become innovators, leaders, and entrepreneurs.
The Director General of NITA, Kachifu Inua, is upbeat about the opportunities that are now at the disposal of beneficiaries in the digital space.
This will help them to expand their businesses. This will help them to have access to education and skills online. They can work from home. They can be part of the gig economy, creating software, doing graphic designing. And if they have their own petty business, they can use the skills to expand their market.
I'm so inspired, and I pledge that
Exuding much confidence with their startup packs in hand, the beneficiaries say they are ready to impact the digital world and their communities. From the conference center of the Presidential Villa, Nta, NTA News.
As part of the post-insurgency recovery process, the United Nations Development Programme has empowered 600 women in Bama local government area, known to have associated with armed groups, with assorted startup kits for them to become self-reliant. Abubakar Musa reports that the far-reaching event had in attendance all those who matter in the local government and the traditional institution.
It is on record that Bama local government is one of the areas worst affected by the more than a decade-long insurgency, resulting to massive losses to lives and property, not to talk of the massive displacement of families it brought. That resulted in a coordinated effort by governmental and non-governmental organizations and individuals reaching out to those affected with different support initiatives in material and non-material forms. The event convened by the UNDP in Bama local government was to make sure women, considered the most vulnerable in the society, are equipped with various survival strategies aimed at making them become self-reliant.
One, it was influenced by His Royal Highness. I can remember when we came for the advocacy visit to tell the Royal Highness this is what we want to do, and he should advise us and give us recommendation on how best we can achieve this.
The Sheikh of Bama, Umar Ibn Kyari Umar El-Kanemi, who was full of praises on the UNDP for their choice of his domain, maintained that it will surely impact positively in stimulating social and economic lives of the local government that is in a hurry to catch up with its peers across the state and even beyond.
This commendable intervention from our development and humanitarian partners, we are on course, made possible by the enabling environment created by the local government, the state government, and of course the federal government.
Some of the beneficiaries shared their feelings with the NTA. There were goodwill messages from other key stakeholders in the local government. All the beneficiaries were supported by the UNDP with different entrepreneurship skills like briquettes making and knitting, oil extraction, among others, as well as 50,000 naira grant to each of them. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
Bit on health, concerned medical practitioners are seeking stroke units in health facilities across the country, believing this will help bring down the country's stroke burden. They made these submissions on Good Morning Nigeria. Garba Natala reports.
The incidence of stroke or prevalent stroke keep increasing to an alarming rate in Africa, especially in Nigeria. Ideally now, stroke should be managed in a stroke unit with dedicated staff.
Monitoring blood sugar and cholesterol along with attention to diet and physical exercise are essential for maintaining a healthy well-being. According to these experts, individuals with family history of genetic conditions have 25% higher risk of stroke compared to those who adopt different lifestyle changes to mitigate this risk. But they also insist that lifestyle changes can help reverse heart diseases and lower the risk of stroke.
No, there are two basic forms of stroke. We have the ischemic stroke, which we have just described, when there's blockage of the blood vessel. Then the second one is the hemorrhagic stroke, in which the blood vessel simply ruptures, and there are factors that causes that rupture.
The issue of getting a hospital to have CT scan as a mandatory requirement, this is far from what we expect. So we need more holistic effort.
However, I also must say that, of course, we have a few places where we can have some of those advanced therapy for some patients.
To cap it all, these medical experts advise that the first 1 hour after a stroke is crucial, but also explain that it is crucial to take precautionary measures to help reduce the risk of stroke.
The coverage of stroke unit in Nigeria is less than 10%. This is a nationwide cross-sectional survey study. The latest stroke center is in Huma here. Thank God in Maiduguri. In the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to commission the largest stroke center in Africa. This is because so many of our prominent elders have died from stroke. Not because we do not know what to do, but because we do not have the facilities on ground.
Every year, experts estimate that at least 15 million people worldwide suffer from stroke, with 5 million left permanently disabled. The good news is that up to 80% of strokes can be prevented by avoiding harmful habits and adopting a healthy lifestyle. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
So News Desk at 6 on NTA News 24. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
The dreams that our founding fathers envisaged are still work in progress. Every day, we put our hands on the plow, determined to do a better job of it. While it is tempting to focus on what has been left undone and where we have stumbled as a nation, we must never lose sight of how far we have come in forging and holding our country together.
Welcome back. 5 suspected port vandals have been paraded for their involvement in notorious vandalism of iron steel under the key apron berth facilities in the Nigerian Ports Authority Rivers Ports, Port Harcourt. Commissioner of Police, Eastern Ports Police Command, Jimo Ibrahim, paraded the suspects alongside various recovered exhibits. Emmanuel Lene reports.
The Abonema Wharf is one of the oldest ports in the country but has over time been underutilized. Unfortunately, some vandals have taken advantage of the abandoned port to vandalize critical facilities at the port. The latest is the arrest and parade of 5 suspected vandals whose stock in trade is the vandalism of the port facilities. The suspects, nabbed between 27th October to 2nd of November, were apprehended after being intercepted in a wooden boat with occupants on board and bearing some particles of steel iron suspected to have been vandalized from underneath quay apron of berths at the port. Other suspects were arrested for allegedly entering the berths with iron cutting equipment to vandalize the steel irons and pipe. Commissioner of Police, Eastern Ports Authority, Jimo Moshood, who paraded the suspects, said some of the suspects jumped into the river upon sighting the Marine Police, and efforts are on to arrest them.
During my last press briefing, I did promise the members of the press, the MP management, and the critical stakeholders and investors at the port of a safe and secure environment for marine commercial activities to continue to thrive unhindered throughout the Eastern Port. These have been achieved through the implementation of a coordinated and sustained intelligence gathering, surveillance and observation patrol, vigorous patrol of the MPA waterfront by the Marine Police team.
Items recovered from the suspects include wooden canoes, gas cylinders with hose and come-along jack, as well as pieces of scrap iron. All the suspects will be charged to court immediately as investigations to arrest fleeing suspects are intensified. In Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Lene, Nta News.
The Senior Staff Association, or Union of Nigerian Universities, SANU, says it is assessing the pronouncements by the federal government of removal of all tertiary institutions from the Integrated Payroll Information System, IPPIS. SANU President Mohammed Haruna, at a briefing in Abuja, said that despite the pronouncements, the federal government still paid October salaries through IPPIS.
And we are waiting to see. Our October salary was paid through IPPIS. So we are waiting to see in November whether there could be a departure from that. So if our exit from IPPIS is in tandem with our aspiration of having financial stability, for having our autonomy in terms of funding and operations, we are the most delighted and we will be happy to celebrate that. We are revisiting the matters of our outstanding 3 months withheld salaries, the 50 billion naira and allowances, arrears of our 25-35% salary increment. We recognize that the government has begun payment of the 1 month from the 4 months withheld salaries, and we are hopeful that this marks the progress towards fulfilling these commitments.
The SANU president expressed concerns over pending agreements with the federal governments. As the Fiscal Responsibility Commission Awareness and Sensitization Program continues, experts emphasize accountability and transparency in public finance management. Details with Alika Okmanachi Arwa.
The program, organized by the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, aims to promote fiscal discipline and responsible spending of public finance in government agencies, while Day 1 highlighted the importance of domesticating fiscal responsibility agencies in states and local governments across the country. Day 2 focus on awareness and sensitization on accountability and transparency.
The participants are very active. The paper presentations are very incisive. It is also interactive.
The people in fiscal responsibility are under a lot of pressure. They have to deal with a lot of other agencies, and there is high tension. There's accusations, you're not remitting enough, you're not responding to our demands and all that. So that is where I see that they need to manage their own emotions to be able to deal with state governments, local governments, and other agencies.
Panelists also stressed the importance of technology in promoting transparency, in addition to mechanisms that are crucial for preventing corruption and promoting good governance.
What it does essentially is to prevent corruption, because when systems are put in place for checks and balances, for accountability, for transparency, the opportunity for corruption will be reduced.
Even though Plateau State has not yet domesticated the FRC program in the state, but it's going to help us to go back home to persuade our executive governor to implement the process.
Participants expressed optimism about the program's potential to drive positive change going forward. In Abuja, Alika Okpanachi, Arua, Nta News.
You've been watching the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. Here's a recap of our major stories. Federal Senate meets Minister of Finance over impact of economic reforms.
And a basis for growing the economy, a basis for attracting investment, increasing productivity, encouraging creation of jobs.
Federal government empowers 252 women on digital technology.
Pursue and develop their career in technology and become innovators, leaders, and entrepreneurs.
And health experts advocate establishment of stroke units in health facilities across the country.
This is Nta News 24.
Now, in life's fleeting journeys, some leave an indelible mark that makes their loss all the more profound. Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, the late Chief of Army Staff, was one such person. In this report, Sukiria Clinton reflects on the life of the man whose untimely death is not only heartbreaking, but deeply felt across the armed forces and the nation.
Lieutenant General Taoreed Abiodun Lagbaja, a name that in Yoruba might suggest so-and-so or any person. But make no mistake, this Lagbaja was far from just any man. His was a life of purpose, a name that now stands tall in the annals of Nigeria's military history. Far from being faceless or unknown, Taoreed Lagbaja carved a legacy of distinction, rising from a small town in Ilobu, Osun State, to become the Chief of Army Staff, a leader whose impact will long be remembered. Born on February 28, 1968, Lagbaja lived a life defined by service, not self. His name may have hinted at anonymity, but his actions always spoke volumes. Whether leading troops through counter-terrorism missions or mentoring the next generation of military officers, Lagbaja stood out as a man of great integrity, someone who transformed the idea of just any person into someone extraordinary. In the heat of battle, his cool-headedness inspired his soldiers. We celebrate not just the man behind the name, but the hero who ensured that this Lagbaja was anything but ordinary. Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, a name that reminds us that names may be given, but greatness is earned. In Abuja, Sukiria Clinton, Nta News.
Quite an inspiration. Well, that concludes the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.